Good evening, fellas. Justin Alexander Williams here at your service. And what am I serving? Of course, this top shelf game, so let's get right to it. As you can tell from the title of the video, I wanted to bring this topic up and I wanted to give perhaps a different perspective on the actual act or the situation of cuckolding. Now, think about the act itself, okay? The actual definition is that of a noun, and it actually describes the man, the husband, the male, who allows his wife to be unfaithful, okay? So, a man is a cuckold, okay? And when his wife is being unfaithful to him, she is cuckolding him, okay? She's cuckolding him, all right? So understand that firstly, for those who don't know what this means or have never heard of it. So there are situations where you can be a cuckold but be aware of it, okay? And there is a segment of males, excuse me, who allow this, and not only allow it, but they seek it and they actually desire it, okay? These are the type of males who their wife is usually out of their league, but they were married and the wife agreed to marry him due to his resources, what he could do for her, fame, status, whatever the case may be. But as a bargaining tool, she would agree to go ahead and marry him, but she will often bring up, listen, I'll go ahead and do this, but you have to allow me to do my thing on the side, if you will. And of course, a man like that, even if he has status, money, resources, things of that nature, because he views that woman as out of his league, he's going to allow whatever she desires to keep her, which is unfortunate because we as males and ultimately as men, we are the ones that set the tone for relationships, marriage, so on and so forth. So if there's something that we don't desire from ourselves, we don't allow, or we don't desire or allow for our women, it's not going to take place. Otherwise, she won't be our woman. She'll either be somebody we casually see or she won't be there at all. So understand that. But the type of man, the type of male that would be a cuckold is somebody that views other men as his superior. And the ones that actually allow it and engage in it, i.e. they'll watch their wife be smashed, or they'll agree to a certain man taking their woman out, or whatever the case may be within those parameters, if you will. He views that man as a superior man. He views him as an actual man, because there's no way that you as a man could not only allow or visually see your woman get smashed, but to be turned on by it and to be seeking it. I don't know what to say to that. No disrespect and no shame. If that's your thing, go ahead and do it. But at the end of the day, we all know that that's not normal. It's not natural, okay? We as men are territorial creatures. So if we claim you as our woman or our wife, we don't want anybody else touching you, obviously. That would be the obvious train of thought. But these men, they have something off within themselves, within their psyche, within their mental health. So they willingly allow and participate and will actually push forward the idea that it's okay for their wife to deal with another man sexually. So, of course, that male, the cuckold, would view the one who's smashing his wife as superior. And you know this because if the male, the cuckold, saw or viewed the other man as inferior, there will be nothing for him to really gain. Yes, of course, the wife or the woman would be the one more than likely leading or choosing the man that she would be dealing with. But what woman would want to marry a cuckold, marry a weak man, and want to be smashed by a weaker man? Does that make sense? So, of course, if she has the resources, money, status from her husband, i.e. the cuckold, when she's being smashed and dominated and dealt with in a sexual way, she's going to want that from somebody who supersedes her husband. He may not supersede him as far as the money, status, resources, whatever the case may be, but she views him, and the cuckold views him as an actual man. So it's almost as if there's a substitution. So the cuckold isn't a real man. He's a male of the male species, but he's not a real man. So to appease his wife and to appease his woman, he allows her to deal with somebody who is a real man and who would dominate her and do things to her that she desires. It's quite obvious. And I wanted to bring this out because I've been approached by this, or I've been approached with this proposition many times. A little bit of background, because I don't believe I've ever shared this. I'm actually 6'5". I float anywhere between 275 to 290 pounds. I've been told I'm handsome, I am engaging, I'm personable, I enjoy people. It is hard to miss me, okay? So if I'm out and about in public, I get noticed quite often and get approached quite often, even if it's just for a quick hello or, hey, do you play sports, or whatever the case may be. So I have been approached with this, and I can't confirm or deny if I have ever thought about it or actually gone about trying this situation. But what I can say about it now is that it's not something that I would recommend. It's not something that I would condone or sign off on. Now listen, if that's your thing, whether you're the cuckold, or you are the man who is smashing the cuckold's wife, I wouldn't judge you for it. However, it's not something that I agree with or that I think is necessary. There are plenty of available women out here who are not in those situations, and that's something that I need for all of you men to understand. She may be tempting, and as recent as a few hours ago, I was actually approached with this scenario, and the woman was very attractive. However, I could not get with the proposition of dealing with another man's wife who is being leased out in that way. That's just not something I agree with. That's just not something I want to have attached to my name. So I declined it. And I want you to understand something, and I'll close with this. Any man who is a real man knows that he can create any situation he desires. When you are engaging with cuckolding, you are being drawn into somebody else's situation. So what that means is, you as the man, you as the creator, you as the tone setter, you are allowing somebody else to put you into a situation where they're controlling and they're setting parameters and rules. Because though it may seem tempting, somebody may approach you, usually the man, the cuckold, and say, listen, my wife over here views you as attractive and she wants to sleep with you. Some of them may even offer you money or a favor, whatever it is. And she may be bad. She may be very attractive to you. But I want you to understand that you are engaging in something that you have not created. You are engaging in something that you have not started. You are engaging in something that you have really no control over. And I want you to understand that there are many things that we can control within our life, and that's one of them. Putting ourselves in those situations, as men, we should avoid. We should look to create our own opportunities, our own situations, create our own beautiful life, as I mentioned at the beginning of this channel when I first started it. So that's something I want you to remember and think about. So run this video back if you need to. As always, consider subscribing to the channel. I would love to have you. Also consider following me on Instagram at justinalexander.topshelf. More content over there as well. As always, men, we're approaching July. We're more than halfway through the year. Let's be great And as always, be blessed.